very first time we've ever had this meeting and had a waiting line outside the door for 20 minutes in advance. So hats off to you. Caught me totally off guard, but thank you for coming. I am giving the introduction this afternoon. Our chairman of the EDC board has had a bad case of laryngitis and gives his regrets that Alan Merck is sitting here, but he decided that he'd like to be able to talk again after this meeting. So I agreed that I would do the welcome. We want to say a special thank you to all of you who are here, especially those from local government and local business, but in particular, I want to thank the county. They are the folks who fund the EDC and all that we do, and we have with us Chairman Randy Church, and I think County Manager Stan Kaiser, and also we have Register of Deeds Wayne Rash. Thank you folks for being here. We also have folks here from the municipalities, so I'm just going to say the town, if you would raise your hand or stand up, we'd like to thank you. The town of Hudson. Thank you folks for being here. Cages Mountain, over here. Town of Sawmills. Granite Falls. And the city of Lenore. We have folks here from the Caldwell Board of Education. And we got some folks from the Council of Governments. There you are, Anthony, welcome. And oh, lest I forget, Village of Cedar Rock. We also want to recognize, we've had a great friend and partner from Senator Burr's office, Mike Finley. Where are you, Mike? Thank you for being here. I don't know if Jordan Wisnett from Mark Meadows' office made. There you are, Jordan. Thank you for coming. And we also have with us from the EDPNC, Bill Slagle. And our guest speaker, who I'll introduce in a few moments, John Loyak. So thank you guys for being here. Last but not least, the EDC Board of Directors. Would you please stand? Thank you, folks. So welcome and thank you for joining us as we celebrate 2019 and all the accomplishments during that time. I am going to ask the Commission Chairman, Randy Church, if he would come and speak to you for just a few minutes.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's good to see you here this evening, and I just want to say on behalf of my fellow commissioners, Mike LaBrose, who's on a cruise, by the way. We'd love to all be with him, I think, but Jeff Branch, Donnie Potter, and Robbie Wilkie, and just take an opportunity to thank you for being here this afternoon for this 2019 celebration and EDC luncheon. To Deborah and her staff, again, a job well done, and for the year that we're touting our successes, to Bobby and Jessica and Randy, I just want to thank them for all they've done for our county and helping make this a great place to live, work, and play, but for me to raise a family. And I know that Caldwell County is a great place to do that. And briefly, I'd like to mention a couple things as I thought about our opportunity to be here today. You know, a little over 10 years ago, there was a group that got together that focused their efforts toward economic incentives and economic well-being in Caldwell County, and they called themselves the Group of 2020. And we have reached that milestone this year, and we're sitting here today enjoying the fruits of that. And part of their belief at that time was to change how our economy was focused and how things were going on within our county. And so we're here this afternoon celebrating those 2019 accomplishments, yet we're in a this year of 2020, and an economy that's rebounding and jobs that are plentiful. And in fact, when I speak to Deborah, most of the time, there's more jobs than we have people to fill them in our county. So I just want to brag on each and every one that's here today and the part that you've had in making this a success. Each have made a difference within our community, and it's because that you have that never give up attitude and your desire to keep swinging for the fence that we've made it here today. And we never give up. Deborah is a bear. She just never gives up. And it's all the time she's calling me, Randy, I need to talk to you about this, or Randy, we need to talk about that, and we need to figure out what we can do to get these folks here or get those folks here. So she never gives up. And as many of you know, and I shared at our last EDC luncheon, I pastor a church part-time, and I shared this story with my church congregation recently, but I thought of it this way: in that never give up attitude, and the attitude of having a positive outlook on the things that occur. But it was a young man that took his bat and his ball and his glove, and he went out into a field and he began to practice his batting. And he tossed the ball into the air, and as he was swinging the bat, he shouted, "I'm the best hitter in the world." And he swung through, the ball fell on the ground. He reached down, Dr. Porch picked the ball up again. He said, "I know I can do this." And he threw it up in the air. "I'm the best batter in the world." And he swung through, the ball fell to the ground. On the third occasion, he, with more determination, said, "I can hit this ball. I know I can, because I'm the best hitter in the world." He tossed it in the air. It came with a solid thump to the ground. He reached down and picked it up, said, "I'm the best pitcher in the world." Put his ball and glove in his pocket, and off he went. He never gave up, and he had a positive outlook. And you see, that's the attitude that we have that leads to the success that we've enjoyed in Caldwell County. An attitude that we will never give up. An attitude that says, "I'm proud that I live in Caldwell County." And I say that I call this the place I call home, because it is my home. And we go oftentimes to various places in the state, and we are proud to be representing Caldwell County. So to each of you, I just want to say thank you for your efforts this past year and all the successes that we've had, to celebrate our accomplishments as we've gathered here today, and to remember those who have helped us along the way, like Herman Andersen, and to brag on those that have that never give up attitude looking to the future. For our EDC board members, oftentimes I apologize for this, but I don't get a chance to say thank you. For the members of the EDC board, you give of your time, your talents to come and to help in this endeavor, and so we're truly grateful for that. For all of our business partners here, the elected officials from other municipalities or school board, friends alike, again, I just want to say thank you. And there are great things in store for our county that are coming in 2020 because of your leadership, and I can say I feel like we have only just begun. And I thought of it this way, to steal a phrase from Buzz Lightyear, to 2020 and beyond. All right, so thank you again for being here, and thank you for everything that you do for our county. May God bless you. May God bless Caldwell County.
Thank you very much, Chairman Church. You know, I think everybody in this room believes that. There might have been a time when we said it so it would be so one day, but it is so today. We always begin just about everything we do with, it's a great place to do business, and it is a great place to do business in Caldwell County. I would like to introduce to you our guest speaker, if I could get my phone to work. He is John Loyak, and he is the Vice President of Global Business Services for the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina. You hear us talk about EDPNC. That's what the EDPNC is. And in his role, he leads the department composed of the EDPNC regional offices, the International Trade Division, and the Small Business Counseling Team, known as BLINK, or the Business Link North Carolina offices. This team supports North Carolina businesses in everything from starting up a new enterprise to expanding an existing business to the development of export strategies aimed at increasing international sales. Prior to that, John served as the Director of International Trade for the Department of Commerce and was the state's lead export assistance agency. On the private sector side, John has more than 25 years experience in the areas of new product development for companies like Mercury, MD, Thomson Reuters, United States Surgical, and Estive Laboratories. He earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in Economics and Spanish from Gettysburg College and holds an MBA in International Business Management from the Thunderbird School of Global Management. He's fluent in Spanish and is a patent holder. That's got to be interesting. I did not know that about you. And he is a certified global business professional. That's his bio, but before I say anything else, I want to tell you that we really do have partners at the EDPNC. We call on them all the time. I'm calling Bill all the time. I call John all the time. John's been very helpful to us in a number of things, particularly in the area of growing our pharmaceutical manufacturing sector. It is a pleasure to introduce John Loyak and welcome him to the stage.
Thank you, everyone, and Deborah, many thanks to you. We've worked together for a number of years. We haven't solved every problem that we run into, but we've never stopped trying. And I want you all to know here in Caldwell County, there is no better champion than Deborah, who is somebody who works with us on every little thing. And we know it could be something as simple as trying to find out who do we call at an embassy in Shanghai who can help tell us the status of a visa for a Chinese person who's traveling here to install some equipment in a factory in Caldwell County. Now, none of you in the room may know who we call for something like that, but that's just an example of one of the things that we deal with. And so what I would say really is that in my job, every day is a different one. We deal with things like that. We realize that we have to tackle a lot of interesting issues because these are the types of things that could be holding back hiring here in the county. And we want to make sure that if there's something that we can do to assist with that, we're going to get that addressed as quickly as possible. But having a wonderful partner like Deborah is something that makes that much easier. There's a number of things that I've picked up on already, just some of the comments that you all have made that tell me that you have got a fantastic foundation here in the county. For my comments today, what I'd like to do is spend a little time. I'm going to take everybody on a little bit of a trip. We're going to go around the world and talk about some of the things that are happening out there so that you all can prepare here in Caldwell County. And with that in mind, what I'll say is there's clearly a lot of good things happening. The economy has been moving in the right direction for a number of years. When you're having discussion about finding available workforce or finding available housing, you're talking about a growing economy. Now, having said that, and I'll allude to this later, economics is cyclical, so we have to prepare for other scenarios as well. But as we get to that, I want to talk about some of the things that we've seen. As Deborah mentioned, my name's John Loyak, and it's my privilege to represent existing industry all over the state for the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina. I tell people in my line of work, a day does not necessarily get off on the best foot when I walk in to meet with a manufacturer here in North Carolina, and I walk in and a plant manager puts a copy of the local paper down, and it says that such and such a business is coming to North Carolina and the state is offering $1 million package. At that point, the plant manager typically looks at me and says, well, John, that's great. What are you going to do for us? And the good news is there is a lot that we can do for existing industry for the state. And I will say this, and with all due respect to all the elected officials in the room, we love a good ribbon cutting. But there's an amazing amount of things that we do on a daily basis that flies under the radar to support existing businesses. You know, people like Deborah and Bill Slagle and myself, we're out driving all over this state to support every single business that's out there. It doesn't mean we can get to everyone. You know, we're a relatively small team, but we certainly try. And for those of you who are wondering, I'm happy to say, I think I can say it with almost complete certainty, that there's no chance of wildfires here in the state today because it is raining from Rocky Mount to Caldwell County. But as you all know, here in North Carolina, here in Caldwell County, we live in a global economy. North Carolina is competing aggressively in this global economy to create jobs and have businesses continue to invest in our communities. We've made tremendous strides in attracting international investment to North Carolina, and we've boosted exports to all-time highs, but there's still more work to do. One of the goals I share with several of my colleagues is to make North Carolina the most globally engaged state in the US. The way I look at it, the more globally engaged we are, the more chance of adding additional jobs we stand to get. North Carolina consistently ranks as one of the top states here in the US in terms of projects, jobs, and investment, and attracting international investment is a critical component of the state's economic development strategy. More than 25% of the projects announced in North Carolina last year involved an international company either relocating to or expanding in the state. Over the past 10 years, we've worked on more than 600 projects that involve international investment, and these projects have led to more than $18 billion in investment and the creation of almost 57,000 new jobs. So businesses representing more than 40 different countries and 35 different industries have established operations in North Carolina. They've done this from Wilmington to Sparta, and they continue to come in. They recognize that North Carolina has got a great community, and the things that you all are doing here, you may not think that that's having an impact in places like Germany or Japan, but it is. We're making people understand that this is the kind of place, as we become more globally engaged, we're showing them that this is the kind of place where they can come and establish their businesses and be comfortable here. Now, this kind of success doesn't happen overnight. Some of you may remember former Secretary of Commerce Keith Crisco. I proudly served under Secretary Crisco, and there are a number of things that I remember about him. First, I remember his deep baritone voice. And second, he loved country music. I remember I had an occasion with him where he used to tell me that his hero, Johnny Cash, had the secret to economic development. I mean, imagine, Johnny Cash has got the secret to economic development. And when I asked for more detail on that, what Secretary Crisco told me was that in the mid-1970s, Johnny wrote a song. It was about building a car one piece at a time over many, many years. And the Secretary's point was that economic development, there is no magic formula. There's no quick fix, but you can have a long-term strategy that'll lead to success. And here in North Carolina, I'm proud to say that we have a wide variety of people that are dedicated to creating a highly competitive business climate that's made this state extremely attractive to global competitive businesses. I will say this, you know, as we travel around the world and meet with different people, whether you all leave here and go on a cruise for vacation, whether one of your children goes abroad to study abroad as a part of a program attached to App State, your students are out there teaching people a little bit about North Carolina. And to be perfectly frank, the North Carolina brand overall in international circles is not one that's widely known. It is, if you travel to China, for example, what people will recognize is the University of North Carolina. They'll recognize Duke University and Michael Jordan. Those are the kind of things that they will pick up on. But it's up to us to continue to build that. And so one of the ways that we do that is by working and traveling internationally. And over the past year, our team, along with others, partners like Deborah, for example, we've traveled to Europe, Asia, South America, the Middle East, in an attempt to attract high growth opportunities to North Carolina. We remain dedicated to further developing the energy, life sciences, pharmaceutical, aerospace, advanced manufacturing, automotive, technology, furniture sectors, all of those, in ways that allow us to further diversify our economy and create high quality job opportunities for the people of North Carolina. International firms are attracted to North Carolina for a variety of reasons. First and foremost is the tremendously skilled and talented and knowledgeable workforce that we have here. Our workers are some of the most productive in the world. Next, we have world-class education system. North Carolina's community college system is known worldwide for providing customized training programs that match a person's skills with the needs of a business. The university system is one of the best in the country. Our K through 12 system offers educational opportunities such as little things like foreign language courses that are required by international firms who are hoping to expand here. This is, as Deborah mentioned, I've worked in a couple of different industries, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, software. I can promise you there is no more competitive business that I've worked in than economic development. We are not just competing with the likes of South Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee, and Georgia. We're competing with countries all over the world. We're competing with Singapore. We're competing with all the European nations, Japan. And believe it or not, last year we actually had an opportunity in Nash County where we were competing against a facility in Casablanca, Morocco for an expansion. I mean, imagine that. You've got a business, a multinational business that is looking at both North Carolina and Casablanca and trying to figure out where do we expand. I mean, it really is amazing to put it in those terms. The good news is we have some of the tools that we need to compete. And I can promise you this, just as one example, the community college system, for example, is something that my friends in South Carolina and Virginia and Tennessee and Georgia would desperately love to have what we have here. So as I on occasion will run into members of the General Assembly and they'll talk about, well, what kind of things are you guys looking for in addition to what we're doing with you now? We tell them, continue to invest in education. And that's something that will pay off for us for years to come. Continue to support, the oldest publicly funded university system in the state. These are the things that have put North Carolina in the position that they're in. So with all that, in addition to attracting investment in, and this goes along the lines of what we might see in terms of a shift in the economy overall, another very, very important aspect of a globally engaged community is exporting. And one of the quickest ways to improve our economy is by increasing exports. For the last year, economists have been trying to predict when the economic downturn will begin. I was hearing from economists last year. They were telling me that 60% of the economists, I imagine there's this wonderful group of economists sitting in a room somewhere, but 60% of them were telling us by the end of second quarter, 80% of us were telling us in third quarter. Yet we're still chugging along. We're still taking advantage of that, but it is important for us to keep an eye on the horizon to see where we might go from here. Economics is cyclical, and we have been enjoying the longest sustained period of economic growth, but a downturn is inevitable. And when that downturn does begin, and U.S. buyers begin to slow down orders, the best prepared companies will have international buyers to help them weather the storm. That is really a simple part of the overall strategy for why we're looking for more businesses to export. There really are just two basic points I'd like to make regarding exports. Number one, any company that is not presently selling internationally is ignoring 95% of the world's consumers. 95% of the world's population lives outside of the US. If you're not selling outside the US, you're ignoring all of that market. It's not to say that every part, that total, is the right fit for everyone, but we can begin in Canada. We can look at Mexico. There are some baby steps that we could take. And the second point would be that when it comes to exporting, businesses need to know that they don't have to do it on their own. The Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina has an international trade division that is made up of a dedicated team of international trade managers that help North Carolina companies sell their products to buyers around the world. Our team is on hand to help businesses find the right market, prepare their products for an international market, and we can even make introductions to foreign buyers or distributors. In addition to this team here in the state, we also have international trade representatives based around the world to support North Carolina businesses. These offices are in places like Toronto, Mexico City, Brussels, Dubai, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Tokyo. And so why do we focus on exports? And simply put, exports support jobs. Nationally, U.S. jobs supported by exports are estimated to be almost 11 million jobs, that is. Here in North Carolina, it's estimated that 160,000 jobs are supported by by exports. And exporting is not just something that is being done by the largest companies in the state. In fact, here in North Carolina, small and medium-sized businesses account for 87% of North Carolina exporters. And last year, more than 9,500 small firms, and small could be any company from 500 employees down, 9,500 small firms exported goods from North Carolina last year. These exports have a significant impact on our economy. In fact, we are waiting for the final numbers on 2019. Those will be reported in the first or second week in February. But at this point, looking at what we've done month by month over 2019, we expect to hit an all-time high of more than $34 billion in sales to international buyers last year. I am not standing here taking credit for that. That is the small businesses and large businesses in this room who are doing that work. And if you're wondering how or where we are selling through, we did more than $6 billion in sales to Canada, our top trade partner, followed by more than $3 billion to Mexico, almost $3 billion to China, and then more than $1 billion in sales to France and Saudi Arabia and a variety of other countries beyond that. So what do we sell them? It really is a little bit of everything. Major export categories include pharmaceuticals, aviation, automotive parts, furniture, electronic equipment, and much, much more. There is no question that the current trade war with China has had a serious impact on North Carolina farmers, but our state is still a major exporter of agricultural products. And North Carolina is the top exporter of sweet potatoes, predominantly to Europe. And so ag exports make up a very big part of that overall picture as well, and we want to continue doing that. And to share some current events, later this week, possibly tomorrow, the U.S. government is expected to sign phase 1 of a trade deal with China and immediately begin negotiating subsequent phases. That's going to be a really big deal for us. We are already doing close to $3 billion in trade with the Chinese, and if there is suddenly something that is in essence a free trade agreement between our two countries, it's going to make the flow of business that much easier, and something that helps businesses here and have a direct impact on their bottom line. And of course, as was highlighted in the brochure that's on the table, if you're looking for a local example of a successful exporter, Caldwell County's own Bernhard Furniture came to Raleigh last January to receive an award as one of the state's top exporters. And it really is, it was a wonderful opportunity for us to celebrate the great work that they're doing. The work that went into achieving the kind of success that North Carolina has experienced in attracting international investment and increasing exports started a long time ago. For example, our export promotion office in Hong Kong was established more than 25 years ago and continues to deliver. The success that we've seen is due to a tremendous teamwork and collaboration between partners on the local, state, and federal level. But most importantly, it takes dedicated partnership with the private sector. Once we bring companies into North Carolina, we need to keep them here. And my team has dedicated itself to what we call aftercare. There's no better way to foster future investments than by taking care of the ones you have already made and the ones you already have in your state. So in closing, I'd just like to say that my commitment is to work aggressively to ensure that all businesses thrive in North Carolina. And as a tribute to Keith Crisco, I will say, even if we have to do it one piece at a time. Thank you all very much. So with that, just a couple of comments on the recipient of this year's Industry of the Year Award. Worldwide, the Bernhard name is synonymous with quality high-end residential and commercial furnishings. But in Caldwell County, the name is synonymous with so much more. Add the 2019 Caldwell Economic Development Commission's Industry of the Year Award to the long list of accolades for one of the country's oldest family-owned furniture companies. A steady and stalwart presence for much of Caldwell County's history, Bernhard is now among the county's largest employers and largest payrolls, as well as a world-renowned leader in furniture manufacturing. In 2019, the Lenore-based company marked 130 years in business and is now under a fourth generation of Bernhard family leadership. From its humble beginnings in 1889, founded by John Matthias Bernhard and starting with only 25 employees, the company has grown into an iconic brand that is known worldwide. I can attest to that. In the midst with 8 manufacturing facilities, 6 overseas offices, and more than 1,500 employees. 90% of those employees are based in Caldwell County. Proving the company is never content with the status quo, Bernhardt has launched 3 new divisions since 2008. In the midst of the Great Recession, the company launched Bernhardt Interiors, a curated whole home collection of eclectic, customizable home design furniture, high design furniture. In 2009, Bernhardt Hospitality, which produces commercial furniture for the travel and leisure market, Bernhardt Exteriors launched in 2019 and debuted its collection of outdoor furniture. In partnership with Caldwell Memorial Hospital, Bernhardt launched an employee health clinic that provides full-time health care professionals and affordable, accessible medical services for employees and families. Not every company in the state does that. It is an absolutely amazing tribute to them for the work that they're doing there. And in 2020, there are plans to expand that program to include a full-time dietitian and rename the facility the Bernhardt Family Wellness Center. The company years ago established a credit union for its employees and has continually provided a Christmas bonus to all hourly employees, even in the toughest of economic times. Based on employees' years of service, the company paid out more than $1.5 million in Christmas bonuses in 2019. The combination of passion, hard work, and consistency has led to industry-wide recognition of the company's leadership in high-end furnishings, as well as excellent management and far-reaching economic impact. Among the industry accolades the company has received are multiple Pinnacle Design Achievement Awards from the American Society of Furniture Designers, as well as the American Home Furnishings Association's Environmental Excellence Award for corporate performance. The company has also been recognized for its leadership in environmental stewardship, with 5 facilities achieving EFEC, or the Enhanced Furniture Environmental Culture certification. The company has also developed programs with environmental groups such as SFI, FSC, Green Guard, and in support of LEED. Most recently, as I mentioned, the company was selected as one of 6 companies to receive North Carolina Governor's Export Award, which highlights the company's success in increasing overseas sales. But the company's reputation for excellence is not just limited in business and design. Locally, Bernhardt is just as well known for its dedication to making a difference in the community. Driven by a corporate mandate to be a good citizen, serve as a community leader, and do things to improve the area's quality of life, Bernhardt has a long history of going the extra mile for its employees and the communities in which they live. In the 1940s and 50s, John Christian Bernhardt was among the community leaders who spearhead a community-based effort to establish Caldwell Memorial Hospital. A Bernhardt executive has been on the hospital board every year since. The Bernhardt Family Foundation has had a tremendous impact on the community in a brief time. And since its inception 12 years ago, through donations from the Bernhardt Family and Corporation, the foundation has awarded 224 grants to 53 separate agencies, 50 of which are based here in Caldwell County. The spirit of generosity and community service extends well beyond the company's leadership, as employees from throughout the company support a variety of local causes and organizations through volunteer efforts and financial support. Bernhardt corporate and employee contributions account for more than half of the United Way of Caldwell County budget, which supports 18 local nonprofit agencies. The annual United Way Drive at Bernhardt is a huge event and consistently has widespread participation from employees. For communities and schools of Caldwell County, Bernhardt provides more mentors and tutors than any other company. Their commitment and influence at CIS is even reflected in the organization's Mentor of the Year Award, which is named for retired Bernhardt employee Louise Correll. While the Bernhardt family is synonymous, the name is synonymous with style and quality in furniture for homes, businesses, hotels, and universities worldwide, the Bernhardt name in Caldwell County means so much more in Caldwell County. Here it also stands for generosity, community service, leadership, and sustainability. So with that, I'd like you all to join me in congratulating Bernhardt Furniture for the Industry of the Year Award. And if I could have one representative from the company join me.
Congratulations to the Bernhardt family. We're very, very proud of you. I'd like to welcome a former Herman Andersen Award winner to the microphone. He is Bob Floyd, and he is going to present the Herman Andersen Award.
Thank you, Deborah, and my congratulations as well to Bernhardt Furniture. Very well-deserved recognition. Major employer and a great corporate citizen. We appreciate you. It's my privilege to present the Herman Andersen Award this year. I was talking with Alvin Daughtridge at the table, and we decided that many folks in this room never had an opportunity to meet Herman Andersen or talk with him. He passed away recently, I think most of you know. So I want to say a few words about Herman before we make the award presentation this year. Herman was really known as Mr. Economic Development. He was a pioneer in the field and was actually hired by Mr. Cecil Viverette at Blue Ridge Electric at the time. And Herman, with an agricultural background, many folks wondered what they were doing. And as it turned out, Mr. Viverette knew exactly what they were doing. Herman, over his career, worked with local and state officials to bring industry and commerce to this county, creating jobs and diversification of jobs and opportunities for folks that he worked all of his working career to provide. He also worked a good deal with existing industry. Anyone not only in the Blue Ridge service area, but Herman was a lone voice out there sometimes. He was quite effective in what he did and really paved the way for folks all over the county, but particularly at Blue Ridge. His footprint is there for others to follow. So it's quite an honor, I think, to receive a Herman Andersen Award in his name. I'll tell you a little bit about my personal relationship with Herman. I first met him when I was invited to join the Lenore Lions Club. A friend of mine and I were about 27, 28 years old, and we were invited to join. And our first meeting, we got there and wondered, what are we doing here with all these old men? Joe, your dad, Mayor Robert Gibbons, and Herman Andersen, and Jack Moore, and Bob Lee, and a lot of other folks that you would know were all there. And I wondered if I needed to help them to their car or drive anybody home. But they did their work for the Lions, and we sold brooms and light bulbs, and my children still say they were drafted to help in that endeavor. But if you're selling brooms and light bulbs door to door, it's always helpful to have a 6-year-old holding the merchandise when somebody comes to the door. But Herman was right there with us. When I attended his funeral service a couple of Sundays ago, I read his obituary, and then I did a little arithmetic. There was exactly 30 years difference in our age. So when I was 28, those old men were 58. Some of you in this room, that still sounds pretty old, but for a lot of us, I'd like to turn back the clock to 58. But we were so fortunate to have Herman here. Like many members of his greatest generation, he lived through a depression and fought a world war and came home and started a family and went to work. And we're so fortunate that he went to work here in Caldwell County, what he did for us here. Deborah, his life and his legacy could write the mission statement for the Economic Development Commission. More jobs for those that need a job, better jobs for those that are willing and able to improve, and increase our tax base, which is so important. And all the work that you do and the board of the EDC does today. We appreciate what you do. All right. So this is a special award, and it's to recognize an individual that has contributed to the economic development work in Caldwell County in a special way. And so, as you see in your program, our award winner this year is Dr. Mark Porch. Very proud of Mark. There's a very complete bio in your program, and I won't read that to you, but I do want to notice a few highlights. In the challenge of technology and diversity of jobs and the skilled nature of the workforce that we need, the community college, Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute, is is so important in that endeavor. And under Dr. Porch's leadership, we have been able to deliver when we're recruiting business and industry, always at the table, always trying to come back with a solution. A very integral part to the success of any economic development program. And we so appreciate the community college and technical institutes work in that area. I'll just point out a few things that you can see in your bio that's in your program. We have in 2019 a furniture manufacturer's training lab that our friends from Bernhard and Fairfield Chair and McCrary Modern have had some input in designing that program. We'll have a new indoor line worker training facility that boasts a 100% placement rate for their graduates. I know a lot of colleges and universities would like to have that statistic for some that they graduate. The Rite Aid building will be an advanced technology center, so important in the kind of jobs that we're trying to attract to the county now. There's a new welding lab. I'm sure the Bakers Wake's supposed to appreciate that, right? A new biopharmaceutical technology associate degree will be offered. We had visions of creating a pharmaceutical cluster, and I think that's going to be a reality, even more so going forward. I know that under Dr. Porch's leadership, we've worked with the town of Hudson and the Hudson Station Business Center, and that's going to be important for new businesses as well as having the small business center there. Dr. Porch believes in partnerships, not only with the Economic Development Commission, but with Caldwell County Schools. I know Dr. Phipps, you would agree how important that collaboration and coordination is to the education goals of many students that come through. But with Appalachian State University, the Chamber of Commerce, partnerships with Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute are a very important part of what Dr. Mark Porch does. I'd like to read you a quick, or paraphrase a quote here that I think says a lot about Dr. Porch. Since becoming president of Caldwell Community College and Technical Institute, Dr. Porch has taken the college's role in economic development to the next level. He's accepted every invitation to meet with industry, taken time to sit with CEOs, plant managers, HR executives, to personally understand their needs and take this information back to his team and develop programs and training that will facilitate their success. We're just so fortunate to have a community college president who not only understands, but takes it to heart and puts it into action. All right. So Dr. Porch, Dr. Mark Porch, I've known his family for a long time. I know they'd be very proud of you today. Your dad was a good friend. I know your mom is very proud of you as well. Dr. Porch is the 4th president of the community college and lives in Hudson with his wife Tracy and children Dylan, Bailey, and Carly. And if I could invite you to come up, please, Dr. Porch, accept this award.
Good afternoon, everybody, and Happy New Year. I do want to take the opportunity just to thank a couple of people. Certainly, I want to thank the EDC. I'm very humbled and honored to stand before you to accept this, not on behalf of Mark, but on behalf of so many partners that work together. Mr. Chairman, to make Caldwell County special. It's definitely a special place, and I want to begin by congratulating one of our significant partners, and that's Bernhard Furniture. Very well deserved, and thank you for your partnership and your involvement in helping us develop a state-of-the-art furniture technology program at the community college. This award's a little bit extra special, I suppose, given that we recently lost, as Bob alluded to, one of the champions of economic development in our county, Mr. Herman Andersen. So I'm certainly, again, humbled, honored, and thrilled to stand before you to accept this on behalf of what I consider to be the best team that I've ever been associated with, and that is the best Board of Trustees. And many of those folks are here today, our chairman, our vice chairman, and many of our board members are here. Thank you so much for your leadership and your support, your vision, your guidance, your direction in all that we do. On behalf of our 600 faculty and staff, I tell them this, I don't know if they believe it or not, but I swear we have the best faculty and staff anywhere in the state of North Carolina. If y'all don't mind, give them a round of applause. They are the ones that do the work. I just have the privilege of working alongside of them every single day, but we have awesome, awesome faculty and staff. To our foundation and our foundation board, our chairman of the foundation is here, Ms. Peg Broyhill. Thank you so much for your leadership. Vice Chair, Ms. Deborah Murray. We could not do what we do without the support of our foundation and for them raising funds to support our programs and to support our students, our community partners. We have so many, everybody in this room and all of those 80,000 people in Caldwell County who support us every day. Our chamber, our EDC, Bob mentioned our school system of Dr. Phipps and his team and the Board of Education. So proud of the work that we do together. And by the way, spring semester just started. We've got about 3,400 students enrolled, and 1,300 of those are high school students who are taking tuition-free college classes while they're in high school. Just a tremendous testament to the partnership that we have with these folks in our school system. Our county commissioners who support us financially and in many other ways. Mr. Chairman, to you and your team, thank you so much for what you do. Our governmental agencies, and certainly our business and industry sponsors and our partners. We're so happy to partner with you every single day. You know, our mission says we have a three-pronged mission. One of the prongs says that we'll support economic development through comprehensive resources to business and industry. We take that mission very seriously, and I think our faculty and staff have bought into the comprehensive part of that statement, and we try to throw everything in our tool belt at business and industry. So we're here for you. We're going to support you any way we can. We're going to be at the table every single time. We are your community college, and I told our Board of Trustees this at our meeting last week. 2020 has the potential to be the greatest year in the history of our community college, and I firmly believe that. We have new programs. We have 3 new facilities that are going to come online. We have a lot of exciting things, a lot of partnerships that are happening at the community college. And then I followed that statement with, I tell you that every year. I told you that in 2019, and I told you that in 2018. And our county commissioners were at that meeting, and Commissioner LaBrose, when he had the opportunity to speak, he said this, and it really kind of hit home with me. He said, the reason you say that every year is because you continue to raise the bar every year. And I'm very proud of the work that we're doing together, and I just challenge all of us in this room that let's set the bar and let's make 2020 the best year in the history of Caldwell County for economic development. Thank you very much.
Herman Andersen would be proud, for sure. Well, one last thing, one more, not a group of awards, just acknowledgments for the hard work that has gone into this past year. If I could, Alan, if you could help me. First of all, we would like to present one of these plaques. The plaque, it has this artwork that's behind me. This is Grandfather Mountain, but it's supported by all of the projects of 2019. Carmela, where are you? Carmela with Paragon Design did this for us. Is this not beautiful? We'll be giving this out to our class of 2019. And Mr. Loyak, if you would come, we'd like to give you the first one. going to go down the list very quickly. If you are a representative of one of these companies, if you would just come and let Alan give you your framed artwork, and at the end, if you'd like the box that it comes in, we've got them. So we were proud of them, didn't want to leave them in the box. This year, we are acknowledging these companies. First, Baker's Waste Equipment for expansion at their Lenore facility. BioNutra, our newest company, a pharmaceutical, nutraceutical manufacturer renovating a former furniture factory in Lenore. And then there is a small little known company called Blue Ridge Energy. Do you know those guys? And they have expanded and obviously have a new corporate facility. Brent Ag. Brent Ag is also one of our newest companies. They purchased the former Marlin Chemical Company and facility. Caldwell UNC Healthcare. They are producing a new mental health facility and have completed the main campus renovations and expansions. D&H Real Estate. They bought the former Lowe's grocery store and have renovated it for the Fresenius dialysis services and new medical offices. Dario, those folks weren't able to be here today, but they purchased the former Rite Aid at Smith Crossroads, and there will be a new sit-down restaurant there. Excella Pharma Sciences for their expansion, and I'll just say continuous job growth. We can't keep up with them. And then after that, Fairfield Chair for the renovation and expansion of their main headquarters and their plant down the road. A new company for us, but friends from a long time, the Spartan Holdings Group. They began and broke ground on phase 1 of Grace Village, a new assisted living and retirement community. One of the larger investments in Caldwell County this past year was the purchase of the facility. JBS USA purchased their facility. Come on up. Also expanding this year, and I think unable to be here, the North Carolina Pediatric Dentistry Group are expanding and adding a second location, one for adults and one for children. We also celebrated the opening of Prime Surgical Suites in Granite Falls, a new surgery center. RPM Wood Finishes. They purchased additional property and are expanding their current facility and expanding employment. Sealed Air. Sealed Air has seemed to be one of those continuously expanding companies as well, and they are expanding in Lenore. Stallergens Greer. They seem to have a constant project going as well, doing modernization and renovations and new jobs in Lenore. They are also one of our oldest operating companies. And then finally, they're not here, but we'll celebrate them for sure. GemCap Development, which brought the newly constructed and now open, thank goodness, Starbucks. And that is your class of 2019. Would you give them a hand? Thank you, Alan. Thank you to the companies and the many others who have grown and expanded in 2019. These that we celebrated, we had the opportunity to work with them along the way, but plenty of companies expand and grow in our county. In closing, I'd like to say this. 2019 was a terrific year for Caldwell County. More people than ever now work in Caldwell County. More residents are working than have in a dozen years. And more people now commute into Caldwell County than ever for great jobs. But most importantly, to the people who work in Caldwell County, wages have continued to grow. Caldwell wage growth has outpaced all of the counties around us in percentage growth and in dollar growth for the last 4 years. Caldwell workers have seen an average of 25% increase in wages, and in household income has grown 28%, both of those over the last 4 years. It is indeed a great day to do business in Caldwell County, but it's also a great day to work in Caldwell County. And we owe it to you, the business and education and elected leaders of our communities. Thank you, because you have continued to invest, to grow, and to expand, which has produced opportunities that make life better for everyone who take advantage of them. Thank you, and we appreciate you being here. It's been a great day. It's going to be an even better 2020. Have a great day. Thank you.